title that they're talking about still is Superman. They are seriously considering just calling the film Superman.
Reminds me of Rebirth, Mikey. Reminds me of Tomasi run. That's what that reminds me of. When you said it, he didn't tell me this before either. Like,
yeah,
they
no idea.
rebirthing this, y'all. Okay, go ahead.
Superman. They said it's great for branding, right? It's very simple. Superman, and have him be the project the character, the hope and
we can get a little love to Still Nation.
Hey guys,
Zach says shout out
love this channel.
to Still
Stay
Nation.
tuned.
I am a FIFA caffeine. Coffee gotta have some cream. Fetch a hazel beef for me while I listen to these kings. Still Mikey be the team. Subscribe to Sylabdul Inc. Wiki City magazine. Tell me what's behind the scenes, the other side of the ravine. Is it obscene or is it obscure? I am not sure. The rich is the rich off the poor. That ain't no doubt to my core. We just keep asking for more. They keep supplying, the man is the store. As long as it makes it to shore, I know for sure. They'll just keep on making more. Well, I most treasure that piece I haven't transformed into corporate Hollywood's whore.
Welcome to the Sylabdul podcast. I am Sylabdul, where we touch on the latest and give informal analysis of CVM geek topics, plus the business behind it. I am a lifelong DC Comics fan, so I want DC to be great, so I'll talk about that a lot. Also, I am a Zack Snyder fanatic. We are real people, but I'll talk about all other film entertainment as well. And we got a few things we're going to touch on today. Some interesting topics coming up with this James Gunn Superman film. some weird rumors. We love rumors. That's what keeps me in business doing these streams, talking and debunking confirmation specialist type of stuff. So, hey, it's all good when things kind of go out there. It's kind of like rumorville. Gives me a reason to come up and talk to y'all. What's up to everybody in the chat? We see Dani in the chat. Long time no see for Dani. Marcus, Antonio Lopez, Jovic, DC Talk, Marco, what's good? Kal-El, South Cali. Did I say Marco already? Brogu, K-Tar hating on James Gunn. You come straight in here, just hate. You just had to come in here and hate. Gotta get out of your system, huh? Charles Austin, Future Tron, Sickness, representing Sil Nation West. Teddy, what's up, man? See you in a little bit. Amari, what's up? Come on in. Make sure y'all are smashing your like. Make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube loves to unsubscribe people. Mr. J, I see you. TJ, see. I'm just coming in with just a lot of energy, man. Like just negative. But we're gonna talk about your favorite subject, James Gunn, Superman. And usually when I do that, I have one of your favorite guests as well. So I know y'all be excited about that. But then we're definitely gonna talk about this budget stuff. So before we get into that, let me adjust this real quick. I've been mentioning doing changes with my Patreon. This week, again, I've been kind of retooling stuff, so I'll probably hit y'all with some live streams, Patreon only, probably during the weekend. And then I'll probably alternate doing YouTube and Patreon. It'll all make sense when it all comes about. But that's my expanded coverage. It kind of steps outside of DC, but it's still, CBM, Marvel, Star Wars stuff. So we have a lot of fun over at the Patrons. And so more to come with that. Links in the description. Members Mondays, I do that a few times a month. So there'll be members only in the chat. Sometimes I archive live streams just for members as well. Level 2 and above, we have the access to the latest rumors, exclusives. We got a lot coming, a lot of updates coming with that. Very excited for that. Directly support the platform via Stream Elements, CashApp links in the description. Super chats for the live crew. Super thanks for the replay crew. If you do decide to do a super chat, consider using the Stream Elements link instead. That supports the platform more directly, but obviously I appreciate any support. It's been a ton of support this past week. Even if y'all been mad at everything I said about with James Gunn, Superman, it's been a lot of support on the platform. So I do appreciate that. We can separate the art from the artist a little bit, So very interesting. Harrison having been back to Sil Nation since James Gunn took over. Yeah, that's been kind of the theme with this channel here. It said as soon as James Gunn got hired, it was like this mass exodus, like F this channel. So appreciate y'all circling back. All right. So before we get to this budget situation, most people are aware there's an interesting film at the theaters right now. Box Office Battle. Box Office Battle. We got the box office forecast for this weekend, courtesy of Box Office Pro. They get a great account on Twitter. It's always still their graphics, but I make sure I credit them. This weekend is very interesting because you have the Dune sequel. Now, I haven't seen it yet. Let's see. Hold on. Let me adjust something here. I haven't seen it yet myself, but been hearing good word of mouth on it. Looking forward to the cinema score probably dropping this evening or Saturday morning. That's usually determining the word of mouth. And I've heard not mixed, but what I'm saying, initially we all heard how just it was one of the greatest films ever, and then some have said like it's good, but let's not make it an instant classic so fast. So I'll just say I like the first Dune film, so I think I'm gonna like this one. So it's supposed to be a step up either way. So looking forward to it. I may watch it after this stream. I may just go right to the theaters, after the stream here. Depends on how much my guest talks. That was a joke. So with Dune, the Dune sequel is projected to get nearly just under 81 million. With Dune, the budget is just under 200 million. So it does need a good start, domestically to start trying to offset these costs. So that's going to be something to look forward to. It had a really good preview night, I think Thursday. Double digits as far as with in the millions for Thursday premieres or previews, or whatever they call it. That's going to roll over to the Friday total, which is tonight. So we'll see. We'll see what happens for the weekend. Again, about $200 million budget. It has to have a good start, and it looks like it will. That's a good thing. So, notable mention: the Bob Marley film, One Love. It's projected to get $8 million. This is a film that came through with Paramount. Low budget film. It's just $70 million budget worldwide, not counting this weekend yet. It's already over $120 million. They spent next to nothing with the marketing, so they probably put like $100 million out to get this film out there. So they're likely going to be in the profit. So that's a win for Paramount, keeping the budget low, but having a decent film, right? So that's very interesting. Let's see. Let me catch up what we got in the chat here. So I'm saying a good plan to go see Dune. Yeah, I may do that right after this stream. I may actually do that. Good idea by me. One more thing before we talk about the budget, because that's a very hot item with this James Gunn Superman budget. So we're going to discuss that. But it was a little casting update. Wendell Pierce is cast as the new Perry White for James Gunn's Superman. Fantastic actor. Okay, of course, a lot of us, a core of us, obviously loved Lawrence Fishburne in the Snyder films. So whoever you was going to cast after him, you had to bring it. And I think this guy, is a heavy hitter. Most people remember him from The Wire and other things. That's a W cast. Like I give Gunn's W's when he earns them, and usually it's because it's someone else talented. So good job picking a talented person, James Gunn, right? So that's going to be interesting to see, like I said, what happens with that. Okay. And I'm going to look in the chat here. Thoughts on this casting. How do we feel about Wendell Pierce? Now, except K-Tar and TJ, because y'all going to say something mean. Everyone else, what do you think about this casting? All right, and DC Talk, you're on the list as well. You can't say that. Marco likes it. Okay, we got one positive person. That's great. That's great. Now, I will say this, okay, with the Perry White thing, obviously, I just find it ironic this character, he's Perry White, and that's the one that they changed the race with. I do find that interesting. Zack Snyder did that. Originally, the word is Bruce Timm wanted a black Perry White in the DC animated projects, but they didn't allow Bruce Timm to do that. So, Zack Snyder kind of took a cool idea, a possible idea that would have been animated, and then you had Lawrence Fishburne, which is great. But and so Zack Snyder is the blueprint, I guess, is the is the conclusion. Let's see. Brogu likes him as an actor. He was in Cocaine Bear, South Cali. I forgot about that. I only saw Cocaine Bear one time, but I liked the film. I just didn't do many repeat viewings with that one. Dani likes it as well. Kenneth Gardner. I always said with James Gunn, since I didn't like any of his DC up to this point, right? That's why I have my trepidations. I didn't like Suicide Squad. I didn't like Peacemaker, right? So I was like, for him to be successful with DC, you have to get other talented people, people to, spice up these projects. And James Gunn proceeded to write and direct everything. So I was like, well, no, like, let's get some more writers in here. Let's get some more directors. And, I think he could do something. So good choice right here, though. Good choice. And those that said that you couldn't comment, I was just playing. Like, I just knew y'all was gonna be capping. So this is fair. It's a fair assessment. Casting's okay. I don't trust his writing. So that's fair as far as James Gunn's writing. Fair assessment. Again, I have my trepidations, but just again, just get more talented people in the building, and we could do something with this, right? So, all right. So before I get my guests, let's briefly touch on this budget situation with Superman Legacy, or not Superman. Oh, no, it's James Gunn Superman, not Legacy anymore. What am I thinking? So this is part of the document that's been floating around, and y'all know how I feel about just mysterious documents floating around on social media, unsourced information. If you were looking for a reason to dunk on James Gunn Superman, then this gives you a reason to be like, oh, see, look, they're spending too much money. It's going to fail. Well, I did hear something about where the budget actually could be, so I am going to talk about that. And in knowing that, we have an idea of what Warner Brothers is expecting for this film. So interesting. Now, this document here, again, I do want to make it clear because I know, when you're tweeting something, it could just come across very abrasive towards the people that are sharing this. No shade towards the original account that looked up the website and put out these numbers. They didn't make up the numbers. So I do want to make sure I'm not dissing them too hard here. Their conclusion is wrong. Okay, but they didn't do something like this egregious, putting this out there. So I do want to make sure I say that directly. But also other parts on this document, there are some inaccuracies about just the production for this Superman film. I have production information for James Gunn Superman. So I saw just some things weren't matching up. So that's what I was saying on Twitter, that, hey, I see some inaccuracies. So, but I wasn't trying to call the person, BS, with that. Long story short, the main thing that everyone's focusing on, the second box from the bottom, total production budget. They're basing this off the box above, which is the credit under it, which is 11 million. All the way at the bottom, estimated value credit. They're getting supposedly 11 million from the state of Ohio as a tax credit, because that's 10% of what they were going to spend. 10% overall is that 364 million total, right? Blah 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 talk, right? The point, people are saying, okay, because of this tax credit, you go through all the different, machinations on here. This is the total budget of James Gunn Superman. And that's incorrect. I just want to, I'll tell you why. I'll definitely tell you why. This is what I was saying before. When you just get random information and you run with it, especially if we don't find every reason to hate something, any ammunition you're going to get, so people was really quick to and fast to just believe this is what was going on. So just the first thing I want to put out there, no, this is not the budget for the film. They would be in a lot of trouble if this was the production budget for the film. All right. Now, let's tell you why. All right. Let's tell you why. There's a Hollywood practice, an accounting practice, where you kind of, I don't want to say it's like illegal. It's well, actually, I have the screen. I don't know why I'm trying to say it out loud or off the top of my head. Hollywood accounting. This is an example of Hollywood accounting. What is that? This is basically something they do for accounting methods using film, video, television, the music industry to budget and record profits for creative projects. This is an important part. Expenditures can be inflated to reduce or eliminate the reported profit of the project, thereby reducing the amount which the corporation must pay in taxes and royalties or other profit sharing agreements, as these are based on net profit. What does all this mean? That middle part there, they inflate expenditures. At times, they could that number, that tax credit, they are getting that from the state of Ohio. Now, most of this Superman film will be filmed in the state of Georgia. I wonder if someone, pulled up the tax credits for that. I think it's going to have a different number, because all this is kind of like, as it says, Hollywood accounting, moving numbers around, inflating totals. Now, why would they want to inflate a total? And I don't know how this is legal, but why would they want to inflate a total? To make it appear they're not making as much, meaning they'll be taxed less. They will have to pay out less shares based on, again, it's based on the net. This is based on how much are you saying you spent out for this film, and how much are you made. I'm just giving an example. If they have this on their numbers, they're spending $364 million on the Superman film, and the film makes $500 in the box office. They'll put that down as a loss. So for that project, somehow this is legal, but and again, that's just if that's the number they plug in. So just with them and their creditors, to them, they're saying, "Hey, we lost money on this film, so we don't have to pay like taxes on this because we took a loss." Now, what is that 364 million total? It could be the Superman film. They could have added the budget for the upcoming, I talked about the Booster Gold series. They could roll in different things. And it's some interesting accounting tactics that they use. This isn't the first time this happened. Disney does it all the time with probably every Star Wars project. So again, how is this legal? I have no idea how this is legal. But this is this is what's going on. Long story short, no, they're not spending 300 plus on this film. According to, as far as just what's out there and kind of what I was told, expect a budget when they finally, I guess, report on this. You're looking at around Guardians 3 territory, 200 to 250 million, I think is what this is going to settle on. Now, that's a little more than really what I thought it would be probably like a year ago. And when this film was first announced, this was supposed to have been a scaled down Superman story. It's supposed to, and I get Gunn swears it still is, but you got half the Justice League in it now. So, but it started off as a simple story. And then when I put out the report, it's a DC showcase, and James Gunn denied it. Then he went and cast Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, Metamorpho, etc. Guy Gardner. It's a DC showcase. So they're going to spend more money for this. Also, Gunn leaned into the fact that this Superman film is expanding, is building out his DC world, meaning this film has to be a hit. So they're not going to spare any expense to do that. So that's interesting. That's interesting. So we will see. So if it is that $200 million total, Warner Brothers likely are hoping for this to break even at like 500 million. It's pretty much what they're going to. I'll say 600, because really the rule, I know people say you take the film budget and then you double it for marketing, and that gets a little messy. It's usually you take the total and you times it by 3, and that's usually what they're looking for. So 600 million is what this film needs to make, because I think they're going to spend, again, similar to Guardians 3 type of money. Coincidentally, Guardians 3 is kind of the template of how James Gunn's going to make this film. I got to watch Guardians 3 again because I want to see the balance between jokes and serious moments, So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so that's the budget. So just in wrapping this part up, they're not spending $364 million on the film. That's some accounting shenanigans. that somehow they get everyone gets away with in business. And they're going to spend around $200 million. This film needs to make $600 million for them to feel comfortable. So, what we got here? I saw some chatter, and then we're going to get our guest on here in just a second here about the VFX. Oh, Dani got it covered. I don't even got to tell her. I don't got to say nothing. Okay. Let's catch it with the chat, and then we'll get our guest in just a moment. Wonder who it could be. We're talking about James Gunn's Superman, so who could be the guest? Marcus says this every time. Guardians 3 is trash. That's weird. Every time I talk about Guardians, I'm gonna watch it again because I do want to get an idea if this is his blueprint for the Superman film. I want to see how Guardians 3 really is structured. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get an idea of the beats that he's gonna go with for this film. Okay, great. All right. Well, with that, I want to get my guests on the panel here to talk about just his latest developments in the Gunn verse. As soon as I cue this up, we're getting Dani back on the panel. Welcome. Dani from Comics and Cosmetics. I think you're muted. Let's see. I think you're muted. Yeah. You're muted. Yeah. Still muted. Okay, there we go.
I don't know why it was muted. I didn't click that.
I didn't click.
Catching up on some Kingdom Come.
Oh.
So I'm ready.
Get you a good, excellent choice with that. Kingdom Come. Now, not to put you on the spot, but with Kingdom Come, is that like top 3 for you, Superman story?
Yeah. Absolutely. I love Kingdom Come. That's a fantastic graphic novel. Highly recommend.
Kingdom Come is definitely up there. I really like the whole Death of Superman run. I wasn't a huge Superman. Yeah, I wasn't a huge Superman fan just coming up.
Same.
A lot of the runs didn't really resonate with me, but Kingdom Come definitely.
Well, for me, and I was kind of the same because Superman is kind of one-dimensional for me. He's just so perfect. He doesn't have this dark side or anything. But lately with the new like rebirth and everything, they put a little bit in there because that's what makes comic book characters relatable. When they have flaws that we can relate to, and Superman he didn't have any flaws.
Exactly. That's why they call that Superman problem. That's what that is. It's like, how do you make him in? Now, I did like the Earth 1 run of Superman. They tried to modernize.
Yeah, that just
make him a little hipper. You wasn't feeling that? You wasn't feeling Earth 1? And the funny thing is, like, though Superman seems really uninteresting, again, just for me growing up, I always loved when they did the alternate stuff, like the, obviously Injustice, the Earth 2, the Val-Zod stuff. Like, anytime it wasn't just regular Kal-El, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Same powers, same everything.
I like, what were their names? The crime syndicate versions of them.
Ultraman.
Yes, that's it. Ultraman. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I really think the chat is gonna hate me today. Already, like, Neo, I'm sorry, but I think Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was great. It was one of the only good things to come out of Phase 4 of the MCU.
Yeah, it saves the MCU,
and I related to it and I have to. So weird, but I grew up in a children's hospital, and I'm still very close with the kids I grew up with in that hospital, and Rocket is being cut up and put back together over and over again. So were we, and we were kind of being experimented on in a way, medical science wise. There were 4 of us to a room. There were 4 of them to a cage. All these kids that I grew up with that watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 felt the same way I did when we watched this movie. We're like, oh my God, we're all Rocket.
Oh, right.
We're all Rocket.
That's that personal connection. Most people that like the film kind of, they resonated like that with them, right? And so that's why I gotta watch it again, because my first watch, it didn't really land with me, but personal stuff
Give
like
it
that.
Another
that
try. I really enjoyed it. I love the Guardians movies, and I know that you didn't care for the Suicide Squad or Peacemaker, but I've watched the Peacemaker series probably 6 times. Like if someone came over to my house, I was like, "Have you seen Peacemaker yet? Have a seat." Like let's watch. I thought it was hilarious. And you know this about me, that I like James Gunn's work. When he does something well, it's very good. I think he's a good writer. He's a good creative. He needs to stay there though. That's where he needs to live. Nowhere else.
Not on Twitter. Don't live
not on
Twitter.
That meme I made of him sitting on the toilet is my favorite thing ever to throw out. Like it's my favorite because
it's like a go-to.
I'm like, oh well, yep. Gunn's all he's changed his mind about something else. He's probably on the toilet.
He makes it so easy though. Jay's good. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I respect when it's like good work, but he makes it so easy to make fun of him. So.
I know, and he's so self-unaware. Bless his heart. He has no idea. He thinks he's just killing it,
right?
And he's like, "Why are you making fun of me? Because you're dumb." That's why you make really dumb choices on the internet, and you make our entire area and region and generation look like idiots. Like, please stop.
Now we have Peter here in the comment. Peter, I touched on the budget situation, so go back to the beginning of this video. And hey, like I said, I'll just refer to what I said earlier about that. So, last time you was here, Dani, it was before we did an Aquaman 2 discussion. I think it was before the film came out.
The crunch around the world.
That's what we laughed at the deleted scene. Right now, since then, I've seen the film multiple times.
On purpose.
I loved it. I loved the film, and me and you really didn't get a chance to talk about your thoughts on Aquaman 2. Now it's streaming on Max right now, so if you didn't pay for the tickets, you should stream.
I should actually use that for one of the reviews I need to write, because I watched it for Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson is a gem. He's wonderful as Orm. I love almost. I needed to be very careful with what I said there. Almost all the scenes with Orm. I really love Patrick Wilson. But it did not land with me. I found it to be kind of weak.
Really?
And, you could tell that they were doing the best they could to keep the turd out of it as much as possible, with the story still making sense,
I thought she was the best part of the film. I thought she was...
You looking at her booty, not her acting skills. Let's be real.
She had a good aura. Anytime,
Is that what we call boobs now?
Hey, it all goes together. But the point is, was I entertained? That's all that matters.
It didn't have. I measure everything by how bad I want to watch it again. If I feel like I could watch it again, or if I have a desire to, and it just doesn't have rewatchability for me. It also might have something to do with the Cucaracha Gate, and that I may or may not have had a, traumatizing fear of those nasty little creatures my entire life. And then, one of the most handsome actors in the world is just like, land shrimp, like,
That just
Why
didn't work
was that
for you.
necessary?
So that's interesting. So that's not a recommended film for you. Now,
No.
one that may be is this James Gunn Superman. Now,
Maybe.
initially, Danny, because I don't think we really talked about this yet either. Like before the current stuff, just initially when you first heard James Gunn was going to do a Superman film, how did that land with you? Because you say you like his work, so were you kind of anticipating this from the beginning?
I missed a part of that because you cut out a second on my end.
Okay. Well, basically, were you when you first heard that Gunn was going to make the Superman film?
Yeah.
Like, was that hype for you, knowing that?
I don't know if hype is the right word. I like his writing. Okay, I'm a Gunn fan in the respect that there's not been one of his movies that I sat through where I felt like, dear God, I just wasted my effing time. Like, I'm always relating to something. I'm always emoting in some way, whether it's laughter or bawling my eyes out at, fictional cartoon animals. I trust his ability to write and direct. So I guess if we're not going to have Snyder to continue his story, then if we're going to get somebody, thankfully it's someone who has been tested with comic book stuff in the past and succeeded at it. No matter what or how anyone feels about Gunn's talent or lack thereof in their opinion, he has made money. You cannot deny that he was successful for Marvel. He did well for Marvel. Therefore, now he's like in charge at DC. Let's see what he does.
The timing of it, Danny, because you talked about Guardians 3, that's like a huge, that's what WB's banking on. Like, hey, this guy had this mega Marvel film. Now, again, I know people are going to be like, well, it's because it is. I get that. I'm just saying, just on paper, he's coming off a very, the most successful, like you said it earlier, Phase 4 Marvel film. And so this is why they're trying to push him, to, I guess, to make this great film. They feel Superman film. So yeah.
Man, you guys just really hate him. I think Vigilante Emancipator. I think Vigilante in the Peacemaker show is hilarious. That dude is just on it. He was sitting in jail. Oh God, that guy is hilarious. I hate with every fiber of my being the CW. Like, I hate everything they've put out. I think it's just low quality, low budget. I've never been able to get into any of it. I tried watching Arrow, but I'm such a nerd. I've been reading comics my entire life. Immediately, I'm like, that's a Batman story arc.
That's not Arrow. Yeah.
That's not the Arrow. Like, you're trying to put an arrow-shaped peg in a Batman-shaped hole, and that's just
that was a Batman show.
It was a Batman show. It was like they were ticked off that Fox got the rights to, the Batman character and started Gotham, and they couldn't get that. So like, well, the Green Arrow's kind of like him, so let's just do that. And it just all seemed real corny and cheesy to me. The only CW superhero show I ever watched, and it didn't feel like I was forcing myself to watch it for educational purposes, was Superman and Lois. But that's like the worst diss in the world, is to say that, oh, that's like the CW, or that's worse than the CW. That's like, oh, dog, you don't have to go that dirty with it.
Fighting words.
Yeah, but to me, Sony Studios is where CW moved their superhero department. I have seen Madam Web. Okay, I've seen it, and that's all the proof I need.
Madam Web. Okay, it's not a good movie. Okay?
No.
Madam Web, it's not good, but it's not terrible. It's not like complete dumpster trash. I could watch Madam Web. I could. Hey, it's on TV. Let me. Hey, like
They left boom mics in the shot because that was the best take they got.
yeah, we're just coming out of COVID, right?
When I saw that, I was like, the chick editing this had to been like, you know what? This is the least of this movie's problems. So
really?
it's fine.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm like, no, Madam Web is not. I'm coming out with a review on that.
I'm concerned about you and your health now, Sil.
It's not a good movie. Like I'll just say my grade right. It's C, but it's C tier to me. Like it's not complete trash.
There is Z tier because I think it might
C.
be Z.
It's not that fast. Now, will I say was my expectations like let down? Like totally, because I thought I was going to get some Spider-Woman, Spider-Girl action, and that was a total bait and switch.
Yes, and my 15-year-old daughter, who we won't get into that, but she's now getting into comic books. Suddenly, I'm cool, but she said she's sitting here in my studio behind me. She's like, Ian and I are going to go out. I can't wait. We're going to go see Madam Web. And I just I turned and I looked at her and I was like,
like,
why?
Just your head turn, like your body didn't turn, like, your neck. Like,
and she said, because she wanted to see the Spider-Woman, she wanted to see Sydney Sweeney. And I was like, I texted her sitting right next to her, sent her a link to my review. And I was like, here you go. And she goes, they don't even get their powers in it. And I said, no. She's like, well, I don't want to go see that.
That was very, like they teased the heck out of it too. Like it was
a very
effective tease early.
If you've seen the trailer, you've seen the entire time.
Pretty much. You probably see a couple frames, but they never should have been in the trailer. Like that's how much of a bait and switch that was.
It was like,
they probably should be sued for that.
And Dakota Johnson, like all of her interviews now make sense. It's like she knew this was a pile of trash, but what can you do? Yeah. She's under contract, so she's like, stuff.
Yeah, she
like,
was.
I don't know what else.
Now that may just be her.
Yeah,
that may just be.
Well, she's a goofball, but she didn't even watch the movie. She hasn't seen it. Like she showed up at the premiere, did the red carpet, walked around, back left. Out. And they're asking her about it, and she says, well, they made a lot of changes often. Yeah. Like it's not even the same movie it was when I got the script.
Well, originally it was supposed to have Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, like, and then briefly. Tom Holland, and then nothing at all.
Then it changed. Yeah. Oh my God. I would have loved for it. If it had Andrew, I mean, just a brief
anything.
Moment.
Like, how can your Spider-Man verse movies never have Spider-Man? Right. And like they're seriously trying to force Kevin Feige into making this happen, while Kevin Feige's like, you know what? Just keep tanking your IP, and I can buy it for a low price at your yard sale.
Well, now if James Gunn Sony. Yeah. We'll see about that. Because did you hear about that report? I know we'll get back to the Superman talk, but with this impasse about Spider-Man 4 that Sony wants to basically do another No Way Home style film, and Feige's like, hey, let's chill out a little bit. Like let's ground this, Kingpin, Daredevil. You heard about all that?
Kevin Feige's doing a Midwestern nope on him. He's like, that's nice. Well, I'll get back to you.
That's like when Amy Pascal was like, oh yeah, they did the interview together, and she's like, oh yeah, the Sony verse is with MCU, like, and Feige's like, shut the F up. Like, what do you say?
Sydney Sweeney and Dakota Johnson and all those girls kept saying that they were in the MCU and it's so cool to be a part of this family and all this stuff. And we're like, oh girl, no.
It's like, who's gonna tell her? Who's gonna tell her?
No.
Who's gonna tell her? It doesn't work like that. It may never. I know there's been different rumors saying, hey, they want to cross the worlds over. I don't know if that's all going to happen.
The only one who is spreading those rumors are Sony people because they're trying to come on, right?
Yep.
Right,
that's how these rumors work. Yeah. They're like, does that sound? Do the streets want that? I don't think after seeing Madam Web, I understand why the street, and Morbius, which is another C tier film for me as well too.
Morbius was better than Madam Web. That sounds level for me. Like at least with Morbius, I don't know what all I can say on here, but I can imbibe my bedtime medication and laugh my booty off. But Madam Web, I tried that.
I just got it.
Didn't work.
Oh, really?
I was like I'm laughing. I'm laughing for a totally different reason, and it's sad. It's just sad.
I will say, moments in Madam Web, it was more like indifference. Like at least with Morbius, it was moments where you're like, okay, that's goofy, like goofy bad.
At least the cast seemed interested in acting. They seemed interested in being in this movie. The Madam Web movie, it just felt like they were all bored to be there. They didn't care if they were there or not. And it was cut to Dakota Johnson running with all these girls and then saying, my mom was in a rainforest. Cut to they're running again. And it's like, does anyone even know why they're running right now? Like, why are you even running anywhere if he can just find you? It doesn't make any sense.
And then the villain, like he had everything just like conveniently. Like I don't know how he got visions. First off, because that's not his character at all. To have
they alluded to that while he was in the Amazon. He did it too. Like he was like, I'm gonna do this too.
And that's not his character at all. Yeah.
By the way, Dakota Johnson goes down to Peru into the Amazon jungle with like a quarter of a map. I'm just gonna go there and find it, right? She has no idea where she is. She's in jeans and a flannel shirt and long hair down in the Amazon. Like, isn't it hot and sticky there? Shouldn't you be like in shorts with your hair up or something? Like be sweaty? Shouldn't you have stopped and talked to somebody and got it? No, they'll know me there. It's fine. It was dumb.
Yeah, like you said, they took liberties. Yeah,
they took liberties.
It was coming out of COVID. They took some shortcuts with filming.
Stop using COVID for the love of Pete.
I got one more year to use it. This year, after this, I can't use it no more. Madam Web's not the best film. I agree. Still watchable. And I will. And as far as why do I say that? It's not just to piss off Dani, me saying that, but just it is a Cassandra Webb story. Like I do appreciate that they, I didn't sign up for just that story in that film, but I give them credit that they showed her develop her abilities and
stole a scene from Spider-Man 2. No big whoop.
Yeah, supposed to be the same universe, I think. Maybe now it's a different Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was Toby.
They can't make up their mind which Spider-Man they want. That's crazy.
No,
So Sony, it was an L. That is an L for Sony for sure. But
can we quick though? The baby shower games. First of all, super cringe. Nobody just says, "Well, my mom's dead." And the whole let's guess the baby's name. No clues. You're just gonna Paul, Brian, Steve. We're just gonna go through.
Yeah, just guess.
Just guess.
I don't. Is that what y'all do with these showers? I don't know. Like I do.
They don't. No, we don't do that.
Okay. That's good to know.
If we do, we give clues. There's like hints or some kind of
something significant
puzzle to figure it out. Silly.
Yeah, that film didn't land for everyone. That's understood, Dani. So now a film that may land with you, James Gunn's Superman. So
let's talk about the budget.
so with so with like the latest news with it, like they changed the title and all this stuff and the cast, like, are you feeling some of the casting choices?
Yes, I think the casting choices have been excellent. If they're not going to use Henry, then David Cornsweet is a pretty good stand-in. I mean, he even kind of looks like Henry.
He's gonna be
Rachel,
a star.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Rachel Brosnahan. I was a big fan of the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel before the last
Mhm.
season or two. It kind of got boring to me at that point, but she's
Mhm.
a wonderful actress. And when she was talking about how, I want her to be, fierce and tenacious and da 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 da. I'm like, okay, so Lois Lane. You want her to be Lois Lane. Great, because that's
Right.
what we want you to do. Um, why can't I say his name? Nicholas Holt is
Yeah, niggas love it.
actually a friend of a friend.
Oh,
And
cool.
he he's really into Superman. I almost said Spider. We were talking about
Mhm.
Spider-Man. He's really into Superman. He is a comic nerd. He's a nerdy guy, and he's a
Mhm.
fantastic actor.
Oh, yeah.
Really throws himself into everything. And the opportunity to see him like get into an actual villainous character is kind of exciting for me. I think he's really going to pull it off. Everyone they've cast for like Supergirl, Millie Alcock. I was
Mhm.
surprised. I thought it was going to be Meg Donnelly. They went with
That's a
Millie
W.
Alcock. She's great. She looks like a Supergirl.
Yeah,
Jimmy Olsen.
she's gonna blow up with that. I really
Yeah. Oh,
feel. Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
she did
She's
great on House of the
House of
Dragon.
Dragon.
So,
Yeah. Like instantly, internationally. I'm
mhm.
saying that's why they want to get the Supergirl project in production later this year. They want to. Now that could be part of that budget we talked about earlier, like 364 million. Probably 90 of that's going towards Supergirl, right? But
And
she's a star.
responding to Charles, I know it's not entirely about the actor's looks. I understand that entirely.
Right.
But these are characters that have been around for almost 100 years. 100 years.
Mm.
Everyone knows what they look like. Everyone knows what they're
Mm.
supposed to look like. And there's been a lot of dissatisfaction, we will say, the nice way of putting
Mhm.
it, in the nerd world for picking actors who look nothing like their characters. So maybe this is
Mhm. Let me touch on so because I know a lot of people. Obviously, there's a lot of people that's upset with this film because they didn't continue Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill was freaking perfect as Superman, right? So it's like I get that. And David Cornsweet, a lot of people haven't seen. He did a lot of low budget films, great acting in those films, and so I think just once people actually see Cornsweet, like. I think he's gonna just blow up off of this, just being Superman. Like if they show him this summer, like I'm going to San Diego Comic-Con. I'll be in Hall H
lucky.
this, I think July, July or something like that. If he trots out Cornsweet or have like a picture of him in the full suit, or if something don't leak out before that, I think that's gonna blow up. I think
It is. People are. I really think people are gonna really get hyped when they see that. I mean, the logo looks good. It's a good looking logo. Everyone, groups people like, oh, it looks like a dodgeball or basketball. I'm like, all the suits look like that now. All of them. Look at them. Every single one of them have that stitching textured material look. And I mean, I don't mind it. That kind of stuff has been my least complaint with superhero movies lately. Like my complaint is writing and direction.
If we're gonna keep it real though, like that new symbol, that shield, that's like literal Man of Steel references. When you got the Kingdom Come, and then you got that yellow, which I do like that yellow outline in it as well. But I see some Man of Steel nods, like right on that as far as the texture and everything.
Pull that picture up one more time. I know you got it. Let's look at it.
All right, give me a second on that. Let's see. But okay, I'm gonna throw us over here.
Yeah, it's got the more muted tones. It's not the bright color. Those are, I mean, let's be honest, those are the Zack Snyder Superman colors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, heavy references. Now, you mentioned as far as the Kingdom Come, because there's a lot. There's actually several things going on here with this, right? So, the obvious Kingdom Come references, the My Adventures with Superman animated style as well. Earth One with the yellow outline as well. So it's a it's a lot. And like you said, Man of Steel, I don't know. I don't see a huge. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really see a huge. I won't say not a huge difference.
Well,
some similarities to
the big difference. I mean, the texture's the same, the color's the same. The difference is the S. That is the Kingdom Come emblem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now, we won't really know until we see the full suit to see how much it does match up with the Snyder suits.
So according to
so I don't know
like I said, so like I said, it's like I'm all for if there's anything to criticize and stuff like that, like I totally get that, but it's like those who like Man of Steel Shield, I find it hard to believe like how you could not like this crest.
That's a nitpick. That's a nitpick. That's just, I don't know whose dog this is, but they keep barking right underneath my window. That's just a nitpick.
Yeah, and let's see. And Charles says here, tone and direction. Wendell Pierce is a phenomenal actor, and if he's directed right, he'll be phenomenal. Gunn doesn't have an end. Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. That's why I go back to the, obviously just hiring someone talented is not going to, just make a quality film. Mm-hmm. James Gunn, he has an undertaking with this film. I mean, because like I said, without really seeing anything with the film, obviously it's hard for me to judge, until I see something. Do you feel, Dani, you said you like James Gunn's writing, though, so you have confidence as far as in that, right?
Yes, I do. And I don't care who knows it. I do. And you know what I always say, I reserve my final judgment until I see product. I'm not going to say, well, this sucks, this is garbage, blah, 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 until I actually see the movie. And then I'll say if it's garbage. But I'm based off of the films, the work I have seen James Gunn do in the past. I've not been disappointed. So it's not that I'm like, oh, it's going to be great. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it has the possibility of being great. And I'm not like, oh, well, screw this. Well, how do I put this? It's not like they got the writers of CW's Batwoman or Gotham Knights.
Oh God, yeah. I would be really worried.
Yeah, if it was some garbage, if it was something like that, then I would be like, okay, they are not taking this crap seriously at all. But Gunn worked very closely with Feige.
Yeah,
he helped build the MCU to what it is. WB knows that. That's why they approached him. That's why. And speaking of, the whole reason why we're here, that budget, it is a very high budget. And the reason why is because Warner Brothers itself is depending on this film to do well. It has to do well. They are throwing everything at it. Everything. Because if it doesn't perform, there's no more DC studios.
People are going to lose their jobs.
Yes.
Yeah, if this doesn't hit with the the general audience, and that's what I meant to say earlier when I was talking about expectations. I know you heard the rumors that Warner Brothers may merge or sell again, and part of those reports was like they had these they got these deals with Tom Cruise and his team, Margot Robbie and her team, and it's almost like window dressing to say, hey, look what we get. If you buy us, you got Tom Cruise, to crank out some hits, Margot Robbie, Superman. You make this a big film. This is like a bouquet for Zaz of saying, hey, we have Barbie a hit a year ago. We got Superman. We got, Dune, is coming out. So
Zaslav is just working on his portfolio. That's all he's doing. He wants to make some money back. He wants to flip it.
Yeah, exactly. Flip it. Exactly.
And
that's exactly,
And if they don't perform the way that he needs it to with this film, he's going to sell it for parts. He's going to get what he can out of it.
Literally, I think if because the number, and again, that's just a number I'm kind of going off of, hearing that they may spend similar to Guardians 3. So in that range, they want to at least get 600 million for this film. If it falls short of that,
really quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm really sorry, guys. Maybe not sorry, but I'm not a big fan of name calling. Like, I'm not a big fan of name calling, people attacking each other over opinions over silly things like movies and stuff. So let's, guys in the chat, just let's have a nice. I sound like a mom now. Let's have a nice discussion. But let's just, everyone has opinions just like they have buttholes. So
right.
And opinions necessarily aren't right or wrong. They just belong to everyone. Right. So let's
this is what I was saying. I think the chat is kind of used to my approach with this, is that there's a lot of different interests, a lot of different people that's been finding the channel as well, and not everyone's going to agree, but like you said, like name calling, there's really no reason for that. It really isn't. You could like what you don't like. Like I clown stuff that I don't like. Like I still have Matt Reeves fans pissed off of me because I didn't like Reeves the Batman. Like it's probably my favorite review ever.
In your defense, the granddaughter of the actual creator of Batman wasn't a big fan of it either.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I get it. And like some viewers, they love that film. So it's like, I get it, but it's just, we don't got to get personal.
We're grown ups.
Personal with stuff. You know what I'm saying?
We're grown ups. Not that serious.
Yeah. With what was I saying? Oh yeah. So with the, if it hits the 600 mark, Superman film, if it falls short of that, I mean, you're talking about reboot, and I'm talking about just a DC angle. It's like, do we have to go through another reboot again? Like, it just sucks as a DC fan. You know what I mean?
I know, and that's that. Obviously, I'm a DC fan. I've got DC tattooed all over me. Most of my paraphernalia is DC. I love DC, and we just keep getting the shaft. We've been rebooted so many times that I think as a collective fandom, we're immediately disappointed no matter what they announce. Like, okay, we'll wait to see it, whatever. Like, we're not going to be excited until we see it and it's good, I think. And this may be, I think this is all just opinion, but I think that the studios are kind of taking the temperature that we're kind of done after this. You're not going to get us invested in any more big projects you're doing in the DC world ever again, because you keep saying like, oh, you guys are going to be so surprised. I tell you what, anytime an actor, director, producer, anybody says, oh, you are going to love it when you see this, you're going to be so shocked. You are going to be so thrilled. Anytime they say that, that's it, Dave. We have PTSD. We live in a house of pain.
Oh yeah.
That is true.
No, I totally get it. And that's why I have my own trepidation. Just, as I mentioned, James Gunn, I mean, he's done great with Marvel. I haven't been a fan of his DC stuff. So yeah, I'm worried about that. But I do have to see what he does first before I be like, oh, that's trash. You know what I mean? So
let's see it first. Approach, but they know that they're losing us on the hype train. They're losing us because we have PTSD. And like I said, anytime they're like, oh, people are going to be so excited when they stop telling people that. Stop it. Stop telling us that, because then we're like, okay, it's going to be great. And then, we get let down. So
what what do you think with this comparison? It comes up a lot with this film compared to Superman Returns. And a lot of people, they look at, okay, Gunn's doing some diner nods in the film. You almost like can't avoid that, I guess, because you're trying to start something new, but it's like you want to connect to
It's been done so many times. It's unavoidable to be compared to any of the previous ones. It's going to be held up against the previous ones. So he has a pretty tough job.
Yeah.
He has a really, really, really
uphill battle.
Yeah, it is absolutely through snow. It's not going to be easy at all. That's where my big concern is that is he going to let the pressure get to him? Is he going to let his ego take over, which he has been doing on the internet? That's everyone's huge problem with him right now is he keeps changing his mind. He keeps lying about things and he keeps getting caught in it. So it's hard to separate that behavior from his talent or his ability to pull something off. And like a lot of people jumped on Stephen Amell because he was doing a panel and someone asked Stephen Amell, who played Green Arrow in the Arrowverse, what he thinks about James Gunn leading the DCU. And he said, I mean, he's a good filmmaker and all, but all I'm seeing is a lot of talk. How about you stop talking and start delivering content? And I was like, somebody had to say it, and people jumped on him. You're on a crappy CW show. That he was, but he's not wrong.
Shots fired.
Yeah, he's not wrong. James Gunn's biggest problem right now is James Gunn. Yeah.
I guarantee let's say if all these events happen where they do the reboot, James Gunn is hired and he just shut up since that time, it wouldn't be as much vitriol, right? Like on social media.
Does Kevin Feige have a Twitter account and tweet out and argue with people? Does Jon Favreau? Does Dave Filoni?
Right, no, right.
Because they're too busy barking.
When you see Feige talk, like he usually has a ball cap on and he's like dropping information. Like he came to that Comic-Con a couple years ago when they did like a whole slate, phase 5, phase 6, and just like broke the internet. Yeah. I'm just like, James Gunn, like less talking. And when you do talk, like just drop some like cool information, not being a jerk to somebody online. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's the problem now that Gunn is in production, he's still online. It's like, bro, go shoot your movie, bro. Why you still...
He'll say something, and then 6 months later, he'll say something else, or say, "Oh no, you misunderstood." Just say you changed your mind.
You changed.
You don't have to double down. You don't have to double down on the lie. Just say, "I changed my mind," or "I misspoke," or own it. Own it instead of just digging a hole and making everyone around you look bad. Shh.
Yeah. And you know what? This is James Gunn, though, right? And so this film better be really good because, like, he's gonna get destroyed.
Yeah. If this film doesn't do well, if it tanks, we may never see another DC live action big budget film again in our lifetimes. I mean, I may be like,
except Batman. All of these Batman movies the rest of the way.
Yeah, it'll just be Batman. Even though, come on, we lived through Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, and Batman is still capable of doing good properties and stuff. So,
yeah. No, this is huge, and that's why I understand people that's not a fan of James Gunn. Where they're like, bro, like this is probably Superman's last shot. Yeah. And like, you got this last shot, you know what I mean? And so I totally get that. But then me as a DC fan as well, I do want this to turn out good. Like Capto says here, I want the new Superman to be good. Great evening. Like the best Superman movie ever made if possible. It's just that I want Henry Cavill to be Superman. Exactly. I feel the exact same way. I think Man of Steel 2 would have been a guaranteed $1 billion because Henry
Yeah.
Cavill is an international star now.
Oh,
Right?
and Henry Cavill is such a full-blown corny ass nerd. I love him for it. Like he's so into this stuff. He's so into it. He would have played Superman for the rest of his life and nothing else, and he would have been perfectly happy.
Yeah.
I mean, it has worked out well for him in the end, though. He's getting his Warhammer series on Amazon.
Well,
that's a dream come true for him.
Well, yeah, he has more control over that, and that's more money for him.
He's going to be Cyclops in the MCU.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. We'll probably do a separate stream about that because actually, I do got to pick your brain about some Marvel stuff. I'll hit you up about that. So with like Charles Austin says here, if Soup fails, they just take this character out of play. Yeah, it'll be Batman. Like you'll see, like I said, if this fails, let's say this film fails, and Universal buys Warner Brothers. Universal's like, okay, I'm not taking a chance on any of this other shit. We're doing another Batman, and then we could throw in like a Green Lantern once in a while in a Batman movie, and maybe the kids will like it. And I want an expansive DC world. Like I wanted what obviously what Zack Snyder was trying to do. He was going to do the Cyborg project and Atom, and the Flash was something different back then. But so we, DC fans, we want, what Marvel got, right? That's what we want. You know what I mean?
The problem with Warner Brothers is they want to do everything the old way. They're still stuck in this. Well, we have to do it this way, or it's kind of like the whole Sony issue, where Sony's like, if I just say this, then Marvel will agree, and we'll be in this together, and we'll get rich too, yay!
Right.
But Warner Brothers is like, just watch what they do, and then just with all the hubris you can muster, believe we can do better if we do it all completely different. Like when some chick would bring me a picture of a haircut and say, I want this haircut, but I want it shorter, more layers, and side bangs. Well, that's a totally different haircut, sis. That's a totally different haircut. Warner Brothers is doing the same thing with DC. We want to do the exact same thing as Marvel's doing, but change everything else about it.
And see, this is the thing, because that's one thing people debate, that you should have started with solo films, with Marvel, Iron Man, that was such an organic thing. It felt with Marvel, it's rare, that we've had that type of experience in theaters. Like, oh, this is a new film, and then it's teasing the next film, and then you got the Avengers and everything like that, right? With DC, you do the Superman. I feel the BVS model could have worked. I mean, I felt it, in a sense, did work, but was it the critical thing, or what do you think? Like,
I feel like,
because a lot of people love that film, but then it was that harsh word of mouth, for BVS.
For me, I liked Batman versus Superman. I did, not just because it was the first time Wonder Woman had ever been in live action on the big screen, but I liked it. But you have to respect Marvel did it in a way where each character was able to develop this emotional connection with us. We got to know each character first and develop that relationship, that connection with them, so that when they all did get together, we cared and we got really, really excited. You have to remember that not everyone who goes and watches these movies are like us. They haven't sat and read comic books or watched the animated series, or they may not know these characters.
Well, really, the minority, really.
We are.
The audience is really minority, yeah.
Yes. So those people, the normies, they weren't able to build that connection. And so there was no real excitement for them when all these characters came together at once. Marvel, or Warner Brothers, wanted what Marvel had, but they didn't want to be patient. They didn't want to take the time to build it up. They were like, no, do it now. We got to catch up now. It doesn't
Yeah,
work that way.
I put it like this, like, because like I said, like we're both obviously fans of BVS, probably the entire chat, save one or two people are fans of BVS. The general audience can be fickle, man.
Yes.
You know, like that's I think that's literally what happened. Just it got caught in that pocket of time where Marvel was killing it, and then you got this this cool Zack Snyder guy who wants to blow shit up all the time, and you know, and like he's doing something like trying to do it his way, and the general audience is like, that's not Marvel, you know. And I think he's got caught up in that. I really believe, you know, because man, every time I watch BVS, bro, I mean, like I said, I know I am a Zack Snyder fanatic, so
film. It was a good film.
Yeah,
Snyder's Justice League, good film. Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman is one of the best comic book movies that has been made. And that's like,
it's in my top 5.
Yeah, it's amazing. We don't speak about 84.
I don't remember 84.
Yeah, 84 what? There's a funny story about that canvas. It's there for a reason. Yeah, it had a lot of potential, but Warner Brothers didn't treat it the way they should have. Like I said, it's like,
I agree.
They want Marvel. They want what Marvel has, but they don't want to. They don't want to do what it takes to get that.
And let's be honest about this too. Like, you know, I'm saying this just rhetorically. Let's be honest. But with even though we all like BVS, it's very clear that after Man of Steel, like you were saying, Dani, Warner Brothers pretty much forced Batman on Zack Snyder. Right now, he made a masterpiece to me. It's just that patience, like you said, wasn't there. Like if we would have gotten a proper, I hate to say proper sequel because what are you talking about? I'm saying if you would have got another Henry Cavill Superman film, and while you're doing that, let's do that Batman film and kind of have that crossover. You can introduce Wonder Woman in either one of those, right? And set up her film. But it's just they were starting something cooking there with Man of Steel. Like that opening Krypton sequence is one of like my favorite just cinematic moments.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Ever.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah. It was just crazy. Just being in theaters. I was there opening day. And I'm thinking, okay, ho hum, it's a Superman film, right? Because I didn't grow up a huge Superman fan, but I was like, I gotta watch this because the trailers look like he's gonna beat people up, right? So I'm like, let's watch this, you know. And Zack Snyder, I didn't know his work that well then in 2013. So for that opening sequence, I'm like, this is like he's cooking right here, you know. And they should have followed that up. Let's get another Superman film, do your Batman, and then have it crossover. You know, now I like what we got, but I'm just saying, just in theory, especially in that Marvel bubble of time, they should have done it. That's what they should have done. You know,
and they had no plan, and you could tell they had no plan. Like they had a recipe, but they just did it out of order. You know, you can't scramble the eggs and then crack them open. It
all right.
It doesn't work
unless you just like know like this is going to be undeniable. You know, again, general audience. It's hard to, you know, understand when trends begin and end. You know, and because now Marvel can't really do what they were doing before. They're like, okay, let's get Hugh Jackman back.
Marvel has lost their plot as well.
Yeah.
Okay, they got to work on getting that back, and their whole stuff is being like they're dumping everything out. And like, all right,
let's get these X-Men in here. Yeah, bring in the mutants. You know, that's
it over with already, for sake.
Yeah,
like, come on. The X-Men have always been Marvel's number one. So
that's really what started all that. When X-Men came out, as far as just I guess our generation. When X-Men came out, it's like, oh, like we could do this in big screen theaters. Like this is what y'all could do, you know.
For me, it was Batman in 1989. That was
I always keep Batman separate only because it just Batman is Batman. Like he's always gonna just be a hit. You know, like even now, like we said, okay, Marvel, we in trouble. Okay, bring in the X-Men. All DC could do is say, oh, let's do another Batman film.
Yeah,
let's recast them and do, you know, and it's going to make money. It's going to make money no matter who's Batman, and you know whether it's Bourne or not, Reeves. So yeah, Marvel has that get out of free jail card, and then you got Fantastic Four, which can be a surprise hit for some people. I mean, like the cast of them.
I like the cast. So I think they made smart choices with the cast. I've seen a lot of people like, Pedro Pascal. I'm like, now, shush. You love him in everything else. You love him in everything else.
Literally.
Oh, I've seen so many people like, really, Pedro? I'm like, no, you would have complained no matter what. It doesn't matter.
That's what that is. Because Pedro,
there is, and y'all know this already, but there are YouTubers who get paid to hate everything because that's what gets them clickety clicks. So they're, I don't know if they're professionally enraged. They're professionally enraged. They professionally hate everything. And so you have a lot of people who watch the professionally enraged, and they were all so ticked that Pedro got Reed Richards. They're like, he doesn't even look smart. What does that even mean? Doesn't look. He speaks like 3 langues for one. He's a really nice person. He really is. Stop.
He can act smart.
Give it a chance. You haven't even seen anything yet. But to me, you've got Vanessa Kirby, I've liked everything she's done. Eben Moss-Backrack is Ben Grimm, basically.
Yeah.
He's an angry Jewish guy from the East Coast. That's Ben Grimm.
Joseph Quinn's going to be the big breakout star. I think he's going to be in like 10 films.
The people complaining about the Joseph Quinn thing, like, Johnny Storm's supposed to be handsome. Shut up. You thought he was gorgeous in Stranger Things. All you ladies were ruining couches over Eddie in Stranger Things. And now that he's Johnny Storm, you got a big problem with it. Shush.
He's going to be a star. Joseph Quinn. That's a huge get.
The casting is a hit for me.
Yeah. But see, Marvel, you see how easy, I mean, it's not easy, but you see how Marvel could just turn to another franchise and be like, we'll make $1 billion off of this, you know?
What? Because they can't. They have an endless supply of source material. They have decades worth of source material. DC has even more. Why are we not doing those same things? And I mean, honestly, Creature Commandos. Yeah, we should be doing that. We should be doing Creature Commandos. And
but this was me. Like when we're saying, okay, Marvel. Okay, the Avengers kind of, on the bench right now, right? You get mutants, you get Fantastic Four, and you're like, DC, pull out Creature Commandos? Like, no, that's not what we need right now.
Well, think about it, though. Who knew Jack? Who knew anything about Guardians of the Galaxy before Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 in 2013?
I didn't read a Guardians comic at all before then.
Right.
Before the film, yeah.
And Gunn made that a hit. He found a deep cut group from Marvel Comics, did some origami, nothing but net with it. It made so much money. So many people loved that movie. I don't care how many in the chat didn't love it, but a lot of people all over the world did, and it made Marvel a lot of money.
You about the first Guardians?
Yeah.
That's a certified hit. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know anyone that like seriously said they don't like Guardians 1.
Neo didn't. Neo doesn't like it.
I know some people don't like Guardians 3, and I said I'm mixed. I may watch that this weekend because I want to get a.
And I am so painfully aware that DC is not Marvel and vice versa. I believe that they're two totally different things. They're their own genres. It's apples and oranges. What I'm saying is that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They have a method over there, and it's working. And if you want to copy them, copy them. But do it right. Do it
Yeah.
right. And there's no reason why there aren't some deep cuts in DC that you can't use and make money with. Like,
You know
why
what's
are we
crazy?
constantly rebooting the same characters over and over again? Why not pick Booster Gold? There's an excellent, like, hurry up with
But
Booster.
see, this is the thing, Danny. Like, yes, I get what you're saying as far as like doing Creature Commandos, expanding DC. That's all we want as DC fans. Give us all this live action and animated. It's like they should have did that, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Expand, you know what I mean? Because, and like you said, in that time, if you're going to try to copy Marvel, like you said, then just follow that blueprint, because they was kind of setting the rules at 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now, like if BVS dropped today, I think it would go nuts. People, because it's a pocket in time here, though. You could just drop something huge, and I think everyone will love it. So it's just bad timing with WB again. With everything.
And Booster Gold is not going to be Chris Pratt. I'll tell you that right now. It's not going to be Chris.
You don't
Pratt.
think so?
No.
I don't think. I would love it's Glenn Powell.
I think it's going to be Glenn Powell, and
I will.
I need to make this very, very clear. I am not saying DC needs to be Marvel. I'm not saying DC needs to be DCU. I am not saying that. I'm saying that Warner Brothers
wanted to be Marvel. Yeah. I think it was clear that DC wanted to be Marvel.
Yes.
And if you were trying to, it's in a sense a competition, 2016, BVS, you're kind of competing with Marvel, but you try to do it your own way. And like the general audience didn't, it didn't catch on like I feel it should have. But like I said, if BVS came out now, it will go bonkers. I think people will be like, oh, because Marvel's like a sleeping giant right now. So you do something different now. Now this could work.
This is what I'm talking about, because Marvel and DC are kind of on equal footing for the first time in history when it comes to movies, because Marvel has let it slip so bad the last few years that it's really gone down. And DC finally has Warner Brothers saying, do it. Throw everything, just whatever you want, just do it. So this coming July, or is it June? July.
Deadpool.
July of 2025 is going to make or break.
Oh, you're talking about Superman. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about Superman and Fantastic Four. They're coming out within a week and a half of each other. And this is like our Super Bowl, folks. Okay. Yeah. This is our Super Bowl, and it's going to make or break either DC Studios or Marvel. I mean, honestly, it has that kind of potential. This huge battle here.
I agree and sort of disagree when I say this. Yes, Marvel is down. I mean, and I'm just going, this is a secret. The Marvels wasn't that bad of a film. I know somebody's going to beat me up for that.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, you could tell a lot of stuff was cut out, and it had a whole lot of potential. But
it's just the equity of Marvel. Like it's down here. But what's not fair is that they brought back Hugh Jackman. They're going to be okay this year, Danny. So, but now next summer, though, I do get your point, though. Next July, and we'll kind of talk about that actually. The release date, Superman Legacy, July 11th. Now that's a week after Jurassic World, the reboot. It's coming out July 4th week.
Why are we making more Jurassic movies?
But that's going to make money. It's like Transformers. Like just put out dinosaurs. The kids are going to buy all the toys internationally. So you got Legacy coming out. I keep calling it Legacy. Superman coming out after that. I think what you said, like 10 days after Superman, Fantastic Four. Do you feel like with this sandwich of a month, like you think that's going to kind of kill the momentum for Superman, or what?
No,
what do you?
I think I think we've been starved for big summer hits at the movie theater. Like when we were kids. Like, oh my God, it's gonna be the greatest summer. There's so many movies coming out. I think people want this again. I think they want to have
That's fair.
multiple great movies to look forward to. Let's face it, entertainment has been boring lately. Like, it's been pretty boring. So
yeah, I think it's go ahead.
No, I just looked at my phone, saw my mom's calling, and it distracted me.
But yeah, to your point though, I mean, obviously, us being fans of all this stuff, I'm going to be in the theaters, every weekend that month, in July. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, it's up to the general audience. I mean, I think that's a tough month, of competition, so to speak, because you're kind of overlapping, with. I mean, I think Fantastic Four is going to be a huge hit. I really
do
feel
too.
It's going to be a,
I think Marvel is kind of getting a buttload of, a butt full of karma consequences from not doing well. So I think they know they have to bring it.
Yeah.
They absolutely have to.
We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna catch up with these super chats here. We're gonna start winding this down of me and Dani arguing about everything.
We weren't
which is
arguing.
fun. I know. I overdo a lot of stuff. So, but but any last minute comments or questions, throw it in the chat. We catching up with the super chats right now, so appreciate. There's been tons of support these last couple of weeks, and like I've just been talking about James Gunn, so I'm surprised y'all supporting this. To be quite honest, but
this is normally your chat is like my Disneyland. Like, I get so excited because I get so much love, and then today I'm like, oh God, you're gonna hate me today, and the chat has been so like.
It's a lot of tension out there right now in these geek streets. All right, it's a lot of tension. All right, like we gotta. Like I was telling someone the other day, I was like, bro, like, probably just want to take a break from social media because, like, because this is my thing, and I promise we're catching up with the super chats. I promise y'all. But if I don't like something, Dani, I was talking about Peacemaker, right? Just it didn't land for me, right? Did not land for me at all. I'm not going to sit here and talk about okay, let's say this in a better way. As the episodes was coming out, I'll talk about it, review it, or whatever, and say what I didn't like, and then I kind of just move on, right? Like I don't dwell that I hate Peacemaker, every day because I just don't have the energy for that. Right. Like I don't. And some people it's this thing where it's like I get like you hate James Gunn, like I don't like his DC stuff, but I'm not gonna dwell on that like every single time I talk. You know what I mean? Like I just, I know some channels they can, hate stuff and they get a lot of views. I like I said, I like to talk about stuff I like most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, because just think how draining on your soul it has to be to just live in that world of everything sucks. Like, why give all your energy to stuff you hate? That doesn't make sense to me.
It pays for some people. Like I said, not saying that
professionally enraged.
I can't say I get it. It's like I see the means that are in, but I'm just like, bro, like anytime Star Wars comes out with something, oh, it's terrible, it's woke, it's trash. It's like, bro, like I like Mandalorian. Like, why are we? Now, the last season was terrible, but
there's reasons for that.
Yeah, that was terrible.
There are reasons. And I want to say, I love you guys too. Thank you. Well, they were being nice in the chat, and I was saying, thank you. I love you too.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah. Oh, it's always love for Dani. Yeah. Now, the other guests I have when I talk about James Gunn, they don't like him, I don't think. So they like you. They like you. But just people that they, like you said, what'd you say, professional outrage?
Yeah, professionally outraged.
Professionally outraged. So, like, even before they even see the project, it could be a poster, like the new Mandalorian and Grogu film. Oh, it's going to be terrible. It's like, bro, like, we know nothing about it, like, at all. We know nothing at all.
Do you know? Oh, my God. This is, God. Do you know there was this article that said the first Star Wars movie to be filmed in California is getting all these tax credits. And me and my friend Ro were like, no, that is not the first Star Wars movie to be filmed in California. The first one was filmed partly in California, as was Return of the Jedi. Yeah, the original trilogy. It was that. Look, the first Star Wars, A New Hope, was a low budget film. Don't get it twisted. Okay, they had like no money, so they were filming in California. And
I think that's the number one spot too. The number one state is California for tax.
They got like $37 million in tax credits for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Like, it's insane.
So they're going to film in California. Okay, I got you. Wow.
They're like, please, because everyone's leaving California because they've lost their minds. Yeah. So someone actually sat and called us fake fans and don't know what we're talking about. I'm like, what are you, 12? We were alive when the first movies came out. We know exactly what we're talking about. Like, I'm sorry, it's not what you want it to be. Does it, because it's not what you want doesn't mean it's not true.
Well, I think this was an easy go-to for Lucasfilm to monetize this further. Mandalorian and Grogu, like you put it right in the title right there.
That's you go.
Money. Yeah, that's going to make money. And see, looking more into this tax credit stuff too, Dani, like it showed me it's some accounting shenanigans going on everywhere, right?
Oh,
but
that's
they're making
stuff, man.
Making money. Yeah, this stuff is making money. It's just on the books. It's looking like, like you see these videos, these enraged videos. Disney lost so much money. It's over. It's over for Disney.
Do you have any idea how much money Disney has?
They make their money, y'all.
They have enough money that, look, this is something the public doesn't really know that much. They don't know, but being canceled, especially being canceled by Schmizney, is a physical thing. It's a real physical thing. They don't just say you're canceled. They blacklist you. They contact the owners of social media and have you banned or shadow banned. They have you followed around by people and spied on. They will bug your house. I know these because I've seen this stuff myself with my own eyeballs. If they can afford to pay people to do those things, do you think they're going to give a shit about one or two movies losing a couple $100 million? Because they have more money than God.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, because looking at these budgets, it's like they finagle a lot of stuff. He's like, they spent so much because it was a misconception with it was a misconception with BVS. They was like, it's over 300 million for BVS and all this stuff. And it's like, bro, like they made so much money off of that. I know, like critically, it didn't hit. Zack Snyder's still getting checks for BVS, every month. Like, look, I got another couple thousand. Okay, that's cool. So it's like that residual. So this Disney is not like, oh my God, they're in trouble. Now they made this whole Apple thing that may still happen. Disney and Apple together.
Good Lord, I hope so.
You think?
Apple,
yeah.
Oh, Apple is killing it. They are killing it. Have you seen anything like any of the TV shows or movies that Apple has done, like sci-fi? It's incredible. They are Silo.
Apple is pretty. I still gotta catch up with the Godzilla show they have going on.
Oh, it's so good. Monarch Legacy of Monsters, so good. Go watch it. I'm watching Constellation right now on Apple Plus, and that normally I turn something on, and within 5 minutes I can pretty much figure out what's going on. And I'm 4 episodes deep into Constellation. I've got no clue what's happening and what's going on.
Goyer, right? Who's doing that series? Is that Goyer that's doing that? I gotta watch that. I heard about
it. It's very similar. It reminds me of Dark. If you guys watched Dark on Netflix, amazing show. I won't spoil Constellation for you, Charles, because it can't, because I've got no effing clue what's going on. So
I gotta watch that. I keep hearing about that.
Severance. You got to check out Severance on Apple Plus, but Apple TV is absolutely killing it. They know how to give a property attention and care. So if Apple TV or Apple buys Disney, that gives me hope.
Because it's an IP race, right? Like that's what makes Warner Brothers. It will always be valuable because they have DC, they have those franchise. You know what Apple's doing right now? Like I watched For All Mankind. I like that.
Oh
series
God,
well.
that's so good, so good.
You give Apple like a prime IP, like a Star Wars, like sheesh, they will go nuts. On Apple TV with that, or wherever they make it. Apple Disney Plus, whatever they call it, but
South Park, like I don't know, Apple Disney Plus Extra or something like that. It was really funny.
But let's catch up with these super chats. I know in the chat they're like, "What's up with my super chat?" It's coming. We got Bayona Rad says WB is still stuck in the 90s doing superhero film. I mean, if you mean that it's just Batman and nothing else, yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even do in the 90s, they're supposed to do that Nicolas Cage Superman. Like they even canceled that.
I'm so glad they didn't make that movie. The documentary about it on YouTube is fantastic and highly recommend. It's a good watch.
Great doc. Yeah. Let's piece the John
never
Smith.
in my nightmares do I ever want to see Nick Cage as Superman.
Oh, it would have been terrible. Like he would be fighting a spider. Like it would have been terrible.
Kevin Smith was writing it. He was like, "Why?"
Now, and to be fair, Kevin Smith, who I think is a really good writer, I really love what he did with Masters of the Universe, Revolution. Like you talking about cooking? Kevin Smith is on fire right now with that franchise. But
were we supposed to talk about a He-Man show?
Yeah. We are. We will. I still gotta put out for the what if. Me and Dani, we've been working in the lab a lot. Just
let me tell you, Still and I are a lot alike. We come up with some really good ideas, and they're like, "Look, I'm behind and I'm overwhelmed. I need a minute."
I really got swamped like last month, and
I did too. I'm still editing my Wonder Man video that was supposed to come out Thursday.
See? I'm still editing our What If. We did if people don't know in the chat, me and Dani talked about the entire first season of What If, right? And we gave our tiers and everything. And I was like, after I released that, because I didn't want to start recording the season 2 with you yet, because I want to get season 1 out first. Like I would never get this done. Like
now we're gonna have to rewatch season 2.
Yeah, now I already put that in my schedule. Like I still got to rewatch. And then we're also going to do the both seasons of the He-Man, Revelation and Revolution. So that's coming sometime this year, maybe, perhaps. But so we'll see what happens. But appreciate you, Bayona, for the super chat. We got Dave Miller says we should be concerned about Gunn Superman film. The Suicide Squad bombed so hard it violated Geneva Convention. Okay, that's an interesting.
It did well enough for Warner Brothers to say, "I think we need this guy." It did better than David Ayers.
Well, technically, it's not as far as box office take. No, critically, yeah. So, this is one thing too. It's like. And maybe I'll get your thoughts on this too. Me, as far as when I look at reviewers, like everyone has their favorite reviewers and things like that. I don't really go off Rotten Tomatoes at all.
They pay people to say specific things.
But that press is valuable for these studios, right? So yes, the critics like James Gunn's Suicide Squad, but just technically. The 2016 Suicide Squad, it made like 700 million. You know what I mean? So it's like, it was a success as far as like money wise. But the Suicide Squad. Let me get your take on this, Dani. Now half the chat may hate you after I ask you this, but because you're a fan of the Suicide Squad. And I think a lot of people. Were like basically, well, how do you kind of define that it was successful? Just in your point of view.
Well, first of all, I didn't hear one person complaining about the Joker. Well, the Joker wasn't in it, but I heard a lot of people that I know in my circles, and a lot of
I'm still here, by the way. Just the floor is yours.
There was a lot of people unhappy with that film. A lot of it had to do with Jared Leto's take on the Jaker. I'm going to call him the Jaker. That's it. He's the Jaker because he wasn't really the Joker. He was like this slicked back, psycho used car salesman gangster version of the Joker, and
the Jaker.
The Jaker. So there was that, and you could tell that they did change Air's film. They took a lot of stuff out, so there were some. I don't want to say it was very confusing, but you could tell that stuff was missing. You know, like, oh wow, we got there really quick. The whole Enchantress arc, you know, they left a lot of stuff out with the Enchantress arc, and a lot of people weren't happy with that. Juxtaposed, you have the Suicide Squad, and I didn't hear those same complaints or even as many.
Okay. So word of mouth is what you're saying. It was better. Okay.
I'm talking about actual audience reactions and stuff, like people.
Okay.
Not critics and Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, if to be honest, like between the two, I'm going to like at the end of the day, I didn't like either of them, to be quite honest, because I knew how they butchered 2016, you know, Ayers, you know, and you know, I would love to see his original cut. I actually know someone that saw his cut, and it's like, oh, it's a totally different film.
And God love Ayer. He's another great creative that just because he's starting to sound like Trump. There was that quote where he was saying how, you know, everyone who saw it said it was, and it just, I heard it in Trump's voice. Everyone who's seen it says it's the greatest comic book movie of all time. It's huge. And I'm like, you've got to stop. You've got to stop saying things like, I know you're upset and you should be, but this is not the way, my dude. This is not the way. We got to find a better way. But that is, oh yeah, The Beekeeper is great if you like every single Jason Statham movie you've ever seen, but with as many bee references as you can possibly make.
They follow the name up. That's the name of the film.
Just like in Beehives, the Queen. It's like, okay, we get it. He's bees. Like bees. But David Ayer is another example of studios not letting creatives be creative.
Yeah.
Studios are money people. You're accountants, basically. Shut up and go count something. Let the creatives be creative. That's what you hired them for. You need to stay out of it. You are not a creative person. You're a bean counter. So go do that.
And they're like, hey, you know, we're watching the money. You need to do this. So it's like, you know, it's not fair, you know, for creatives. And that's why these, you know, independent or, you know, like you got Zack Snyder with Netflix. It's like in creative heaven right now.
Yeah.
You know, original IP.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what these creators want. And you go with these big studios, they're going to mess with you, man. And so between the two, because like you said word of mouth, which I think that's a fair thing to say, you know, for yourself personally, as far as why you think the Suicide Squad was successful. I do go off of a cinema score. That is one thing I go by, because that's when they, you know, they poll like the first group of people, like the diehard people. They're there the first night to watch these films. You get a really good audience score on that. It's interesting. Both Suicide Squads graded the same B+ for that, and that's as low as you would want to go with the film.
Yeah.
I will admit, I wonder, do you feel with Suicide Squad? I think someone said in the chat, I know it was like limited theaters around that time. It was like
I watched it.
200 million. Do you think that kind of do you think that kind of curbs like? Okay, what's the best way to put it? Like average like geeks out there, a lot of people seem to like the Suicide Squad, you know. And then as far as James Gunn's, and then you know, obviously you have some like, and probably most of us are here that didn't like it as far as like that. But it's like the word of mouth. I do see people talk more positive for James Gunn's than the butchered 2016 cut. I guess that's the best way I'm trying to say. It's like,
and honestly,
I can't get what you're saying.
The reason why David Ayer's poor butchered movie did better, made more money, is because more normies liked it than comic book nerds. And that's just the truth. Like,
well, that's a good thing
about
though.
That today. I was thinking about that today because, you know, I was still doing hair in you know, corporate salons at the time, and a couple of my hairstylist friends who knew nothing about comic books at all and always laughed at me like, oh, Dani likes little kids stuff. They loved Suicide Squad, and they were so crazy about the Joker, Harley Quinn, Harley Quinn relationship.
That's some fighting words right there, bro.
They were so crazy about it. I'm like, are you stupid? She's battered woman syndrome. She's got Stockholm syndrome. This is not a healthy relationship. But it went absolutely crazy for that kind of demographic. Those chicks who for some reason just really loved that Joker Harley Quinn couple thing, like getting matching haha. Have you seen the Trailer Park Trash with the ha tattoos? Like it went crazy for trailer parks.
Okay, right. Now, to be fair, the Joker Harley, that's the characters. That's from
that's absolutely their relationship. But it's not like relationship goals. I get really concerned about women who are like, I want a relationship like that. But you got that relationship. He just smokes meth. That's the only difference.
Okay, can argue with that one, but I think like when you said 2016 Suicide Squad, it was successful because the general audience. That's a good thing, you know. And you know, you have a cast, you know, Will Smith, Margot Robbie, you know, was a hot item then, and she definitely is now with Barbie. So stuff like that can help a film make money, but I can't say like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and watch that old Suicide Squad. Like,
I'll watch it right now.
You know, the first like 5 to 15 minutes are cool when they introducing everyone, but then after that, I'm not interested.
John Cena as Peacemaker, I feel like he's just being himself.
Well, I'm at the 2016. I'm talking about I could watch the first 15. Now, these Suicide Squad, James Gunn, he pissed me off with the first scene, killing Captain Boomerang. So I was like, F this movie.
Boomer. I thought, dude, when they're walking through the jungle and he's saying, if this island was covered in D's and they said I'd eat every single D on this beach for peace, I'd say, yes, sir.
It's like Cena.
Oh man, that's so funny.
I hate John Cena for that. That was we're just not going to agree on the Suicide Squad, okay, Dani?
Like, yeah, that's okay. We probably should continue to read these super chats though, because they did pay you money for it.
Oh yeah, we got it all in the chamber here, but
but
yeah, overall though, like I said, it's a word of mouth thing. I think that's what you're saying with the Suicide Squad, and we kind of talked about like this Gunn Superman definitely needs to be successful for obvious reasons. Dani says, hurry up with the super chats. All right. Raj says here, Snyder Cut resurged DC in 2021. WB fumbled twice.
I will not argue with you on that. The Snyder Cut was a far, far, far superior film. Joss Whedon should get a serious whooping for what he did to his so-called Friends film out of spite. it was horrendous what he did, especially when the Snyder family was going through such an unbelievably traumatic time, to sit and take their project that they've been working on for so long and just refilm 80% of it. Like, you got to be kidding me. There was 20% left to finish, and you just like, you know what, we're going to do 80 because I'm Joss Whedon. No, you're a jerk. You shouldn't have done that. The Snyder Cut is proof that the fans have a voice and we should use it. We got that film released. Yay us. And we got 2 versions of it too. You got it in the black and white, and you got it in color.
Yeah.
Awesome. But it's a totally different film. And it proved that we were right, that it's a good film. And it's sad that time has passed. You know, it's sad that we didn't get to. Hey, look, I'm glad Ezra Miller's gone. Okay, Ezra Miller needed to go.
More fighting words.
Oh, that dude is a problem. That dude is a problem. But it's sad that time has passed, and this is something, like you said, as DC fans, we have been through more times than we can count. The only thing we have left now is how we, as human beings, plan to move forward with this. Like, are we going to sit here and just wallow and complain about what we didn't get? Or maybe just check out what's coming and give it a chance. Like, maybe it'll work. Just maybe.
Well, I say, like, judge accordingly, you know what I mean? Because, we may see, and again, we still haven't seen anything as far as with the DCU. We didn't get Creature Commandos yet.
No,
but once it comes out, I'm going to judge accordingly and be like, if it's trash, but we shall see. But yeah, I mean, well, Warner Brothers, I mean, just quite honestly, this company, like, I'm done like petitioning them to like for them to do what I want them to do. I'm just, either I'm going to support what I like from them, or or move on. You know what I mean? As far as with that, yeah. So I'm just not going to really dwell on Warner Brothers too much, to be quite honest with you. So that's all right. Let's see. We got Bayona says, if Deadpool and Wolverine film failed box office, impossible. Says, do you believe general audiences are getting tired of superhero films? No. Okay, so the superhero fatigue talk, I really think Guardians 3 coincidentally kind of killed that, because
Guardians 3 proved that is incorrect. It's not superhero fatigue. It's crappy movie fatigue. We are tired of people just phoning it in. Like, yes, you made a lot of money and it was super, super popular. It doesn't mean that we're just going to watch anything you throw out there and love it. So don't phone it in. It's not the superheroes. It's the phoning in the superheroes that we're tired of.
Yeah, because like I said, I mean, Marvel had a down period because just those films weren't good. Quantumania, I don't think that wasn't a good film. It was uneven. I think God the Majors was one.
Cut out 11 action scenes. 11 scenes were cut from Quantumania because 11? Because Victoria Alonso was being such a jerk to all these 25 plus VFX houses. 25 plus VFX companies were working on this film. She insulted and ran all of them off. They all quit Quantumania. Every last one of them.
Wow.
I was told this by actual production. She ran them off. So they couldn't finish everything they wanted to do, and they had to cut 11 scenes out. So that would have been a totally different movie. But you've got people like Victoria Alonso thinking she's a kingmaker and can do whatever she wants, and say things like, I think the name X-Men is sexist and we should change it to X people. You're an idiot. Go sit down.
It's like as soon as they heard that, it was like, okay, we gotta find a way to get her
we need
out
to
of here.
fire her because
like
she has no idea what she's talking about.
about
It's
the
not
F of
X-Men
X-Men
as in
now?
a man. It's X-Men as in human.
Right. That's when I heard that quote, I was like, yeah, like
you dumb.
Certain people just can't be over certain IPs. Like, just let's remove her. But Bayona, like I said, appreciate the super chat. It just I can't fathom Deadpool Wolverine not doing well. Like, this is the Super Bowl spot, like, blew up the internet. Word of mouth is already crazy because Hugh Jackman's back, and Deadpool was already a successful franchise, without the Wolverine stuff. So you put that together, that's $1 billion.
Yeah,
okay?
It's Ryan
and,
Reynolds
tied to the MCU.
Ryan Reynolds writes it. He's one of the writers. He produces it. He's in charge of that. I trust Ryan Reynolds. That man is good at what he does.
He knows his lane, and he's the best in it. And like I said, you're bringing back Hugh Jackman. Like, it's over. Like, just that box office is going to be nuts.
And Cassandra Nova, Charles Xavier's evil twin sister that he killed in the womb.
Right. That's one version of it. Yeah.
And she's the bad guy. Like, let's go. I want to see this.
I think we're going to get a version of Xavier.
Show me the two fetuses fighting in the womb. That's what I want to see.
That's what you want to see? You really want to see?
Yeah.
Yikes. But it says here, why James Gunn can't stay out of social media and do his job being CEO, DC head. Bayona, I kept saying the whole time. I kept saying the whole time, I said, okay, it was, you got the writer's strike, actor strike. Stuff is slow, right? So Gunn has a lot of free time. He started production on Superman, and he's still on social media every day. Like, I'm trying to understand.
You gotta poop sometime. That's James. I can't because my camera will. But it's James Gunn on the toilet on Twitter.
Right. It's like the fact that he is still tweeting, and he's like on set right now. He will never stop, y'all. James Gunn will never stop. It's just we are cursed.
X-Men, a womb with a view. God love you, Mama Bear. I love it. I love it. Let's be friends.
A womb with a view. That's interesting. So I think we caught up with the super chats. Appreciate all the support with that. Like I said, it's been really a wonderful week of people's anger for James Gunn, and some news mixed in there as well. But just
meanwhile, I'm like, hey,
overall, it's about seeing what they're going to do, and like I said, I'm going to judge accordingly with that. As like a DC fan, as they call it, this is Superman's last shot. So I mean, just to be quite honest, I hope it turns out good. I really do. Because I can't imagine what we're going to do in 10 years. It's going to be 10 years like no more Superman.
I'm going to be like 80. I'm going to be so old.
And it's like this is the last chance. Let's give it to this goofy guy, James Gunn. It's like, oh my God. Like no. Like I said, fingers crossed.
For those who don't know, James Gunn and I are from the same neighborhood.
He get beat up a lot when he's but
he's a little guy.
Yeah.
But he was a rich boy, so
entitled. Okay, it makes sense.
He went to a private school. I'm from the hood. So I'm from Ferguson.
Oh man,
we are not the same
for the demise. Exactly. WB, Warner's they did it to themselves. You know what I mean?
They did. David Zaslav.
They're trying to dress up. DC. I think they're rebooting Harry Potter as well, or something like that.
They're doing a series, and the main series, I have hope it's going to be good because the actual writer, the creator of all of it, she's going to be involved. She's an executive producer. She's one of the showrunners. So she gets say over that. But they are planning on spin-offs that she is not attached to. But part of the deal was that J.K. Rowling had to be executive producer and have final creative say with the main Harry Potter Warner Brothers series or the HBO Max series.
Interesting. Yeah, so we'll see how that turns out. And like I said, we'll see if the general audience goes to that overall. So as we close this down, coming up for as far as with my platform this weekend, I'm thinking I'm going to do some Patreon stuff. May drag Dani in some of those conversations as well. That'll be fun. And like I said, just if anything pops up like in this radar of topics, you'll see me back live over here. Dani, what's coming up with you?
Well, this week I will be dropping a breakdown on the character Wonder Man from Marvel Comics. Yahya Abdul is playing him in the Disney Plus series that will be coming out in the next year or so. And I know that not a lot of people know anything about the character of Wonder Man. So I did a very extensive breakdown. Like I thought my brain was going to melt putting that one together. So I've got a comics and cosmetics breakdown of the character coming this week. And I'll be on the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast, I think Thursday or Saturday. Just subscribe to the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast just in case. But I'll be on that one, and we will be talking about Dark Empire Rising. It is a Star Wars comic series that came out in the 90s, and let me tell you something, it is sublime. They should have adapted that storyline for the sequels, and it would have been absolutely incredible. You can tell that they took elements from those stories for the sequels, but they were just like, yeah, just use that, just gloss over it, it's fine, no one will notice. Well, we noticed. So we're going to be talking about that.
They just didn't want to pay the writers. That's what, because like when you have these cool ideas, especially comic book ideas, and they don't adapt it, it's like, oh, you know, we'll just take elements. I'll write my own thing. It's like, bro, just adapt this story. Come on now.
Look,
just
Ryan Johnson,
make him a co-writer.
He had Ryan Johnson and what's his face? Well, I don't know why I can't say his name right now. They had no idea what they were doing with Star Wars. No. They had no idea what they were doing, and it was just sad.
And to find out too, like in hindsight, George Lucas had treatments for
and then they wiped their butts with them.
Yeah, it's like just threw them out. And why would Bob Iger even reveal that? Oh yeah, he gave me.
Because he's an a-hole.
Gave me 7, 8, 9, and we just.
Star Wars fans are gonna have to just really face the fact that George Lucas is retired. He has checked out. He's had zero interest in Star Wars for like 30 years now. Just let the man retire. Let old people be old. Just let old people be old. Just move on. He's not perfect.
Cashed out totally.
Yeah, he's done. Selling Lucasfilm to Disney was his retirement. So make peace with it.
Exactly. That is the reality, as they say, right?
So I have the Wonder Man video coming out this week here on YouTube at Comics and Cosmetics, and Scarif Scuttlebutt talking Dark Empire. I'm always on Twitter, social media, posting and talking and stuff. So pretty much that.
I'm looking forward to the Wonder Man breakdown, because that is a character I didn't read a lot about. I did a recent, not really a breakdown, but I did like a kind of a dive into the Ironheart character for other reasons. And that takes some work. So I'm looking forward to what you're doing with the Wonder Man. So overall.
Oh, thank you.
Cool stuff. So we're going to go on sliding out of here unless you're pulling up something else, Dani, or something.
I'm a Trek nerd too. Like I'm what I like to refer to as a non-denominational nerd. I love it all. Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, you name it. I'm there. I love it. And Bayona said that Star Trek fans are lucky. And I was like, yes, we are. And every other IP in creation should be furious at Terry Metalis because he showed every single IP out there that it can be done. You can revive and revisit old characters and struggling IPs and make it good so long as you respect it. So, yeah.
Because you got to realize the fans, like the personal resonance to fans, like that's a real thing. Like people that, you know, really fans of your product or your IP, you can't diss them, right? You can't shove them away. Like let's keep, you know,
where you eat.
You know, I wasn't really going that way with it, but yeah, but so it's like, you know, I understand you want to get new fans or, you know, expand, but you know, take care of like your diehards first. Like,
that's your bread and butter.
Yeah, they'll market for you. Like the Snyder fandom showed, you know, showed the world that, you know. So anyway, we're gonna go and get on out of here. Appreciate it again, Dani, as always. Eventually, our unreleased heat that we have is coming. Okay, and then we're gonna record a bunch of stuff that's gonna take 4 more months to get out. So
that's 6, maybe 8, 12 on the outside.
I got so many reviews, Dani, because I said I'm definitely, and I'm serious about it. I'm coming out with my Madam Web review because it needs to happen. Okay, the world needs to see my Madam Web review.
If you guys want a fun read, go to my website and check out my Madam Web review. Hey, real talk, I stand with you too. Thank you. I love my hashtag.
We could. So that review, I still got the animated Crisis film review. I want to get that out before part 2 comes out. So I want to get that out as well. So a lot of stuff I'm planning and eventually. So but yeah, so appreciate the chat, appreciate the support. Good dialogue and discourse. I mean, we can sit here and say everything we hate all day, and I like to say why I hate something. But then, you know, I like to look for
back it up with facts.
You know what I mean? So it's like educated hate.
Educated hate.
So that is what it is. But appreciate again the chat, all the support. Much love to Dani and Syl Nation out there. Till next time.
To Syl Nation.
Sylabdul ink to speak true as he bring the news. Coffee talk, stay brew, kick back, get real comfortable. Here to stay, no on delay, make sure I be's informed. On the road, on the go, playing ball on that pavement floor. It's the lifestyle right now, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Guaranteed all week's going to always be on time. That's my word, y'all heard from Il Divino Vega's mouth. What's the words much more than what these networks talk about?